Hey there, everybody. As you can see, I got a kid sleeping in the back there, and my other daughter is actually doing some voice acting today. Very exciting. So I've got an extra few minutes on my hand. I figured I would make this little video for y'all. That's right, I'm Reed, conductor at Orchestra Farm, coming to you from my truck today. And I wanted to chat with you about marriage. I'm grateful to have just celebrated my 11th anniversary with my lovely wife, Sarah Burns. You can check her out at sarahburns.com. If you want a deep soul journey or want help along your ritualist path, you can find her there. And marriages are fascinating. Long-term partnership in particular is what I'm getting at. So if you don't want to get married, all props to that. And the notion that having long-term relationships, though, is a powerful, potent piece for transformation in our lives. Like getting to witness someone through their evolution. That knowledge that, like, the person, whoever you meet, when you meet them, is going to be different over the course of your lives. And to be engaged in the relationship from that context that you recognize you're both going to become somebody totally different. And one of the things I'm curious about with marriages and long-term relationships is how you move through those spaces, how you grow together, and even how you grow apart yet stay together. I personally think it's unhealthy to have no other activities that you do without your partner or your husband or wife. I think it's healthy to have other friendships, other relationships. I don't personally think that we're meant to just spend our entire life with one other person. I mean, like, if you're a hermit, okay, whatever, good for you. For the rest of us, we're social creatures, and it's important to have those other social connections. It's important to maintain communication and not just get wrapped up in, like, the chemical love that takes place right at the beginning when you're basically on amphetamines that your body's producing from the loving experience. And to mature through that point, maintaining the other relations in your life and the other activities in your life. It's also the kind of thing where I think that there's more than just being married to a person. There's being married to a landscape. I use the word landscape. I prefer the word aina from my time in Hawaii, which is the land that provides. And my impression through, like, the permaculture lens is that, like, you actually have to engage with your landscape for your landscape to provide for you. And mind you, yes, there's, like, wild foraging that you can do and hunting, which goes along with that. And if you aren't actually tending your landscape, then, and tending that relation of land, then there's only so long you're going to be able to do that for before you burn out the landscape. And in that same way, I feel like a lot of relationships get burnt out because we aren't necessarily tending them in a way where we acknowledge the other and the unique needs, wants, desires of that other, and play into the relationship by accommodating those needs, wants, and desires. I'm also curious in the realm of, I think our spirituality is another thing that many of us find ourselves married to, where it's this relation that we prioritize, that we offer a lot of our moral and ethical constructs from, and the notion that that's also a potent relationship form. What are some of the potent relationships in your life that are long-term relations, whether they be marriages or, when you think of the landscape piece, oftentimes people think of their house and their home if you have a mortgage on it, or if you've already paid it outright, or if you have natural obligations to the land, which is a concept that I find actually quite enlivening. How do you nourish all those relations? How do you make time and space for yourself to be in other relations? How do you grow through them and with them and become the being that you're, eventually we're all going to die, so that's our inevitable conclusion. But along that journey, how are you going to tend your relations? one way that I tend my relationship with my wife is we drink tea every morning together. The way I tend my relationship with the earth is that when I'm walking in the forest, I'll often pause and mulch around a tree, meaning that I'll actually move mulch off of other places to give different trees extra mulch. I'll tend my garden, but at the same time that I'm tending a garden, I try to think of like all the other organisms that are coming through there to be nurtured, whether they be insects or frogs or even the bunnies and the deer, sometimes even the raccoons, because they definitely show their footprints. And it almost sounded like my daughter was coming. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. What are you doing for your long-term relations? How are you caring for them? When you're planting trees, are you thinking you're going to be with them forever, or are you able to release them and let them grow and do their own thing? I think it's more important to plant a tree than it is to like make sure it survives the first 50 years. So anyway, with that, I hope you're having too much fun today. Feel free to check me out at bendingreeds.com and orchestrafarms.com. I super appreciate all the likes and subscribes that have been happening. Thanks everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Remember, have too much fun.